the jungle's back, got the natty pack in the orange and black.
Welcome to the Grueling Truth Cincinnati Bengals weekly show, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the offense or defense should do during a NFL game. All fans called also. Check out Gridiron Mo, www.gridironmo.com. As always, I'm your host for the Bengals weekly show, Mike Goodpasture. I want to welcome him, my co-host, Joe Kelly.
Hey, what's going on, Mike? Tough week, man. Tough week. We always talk about staying healthy, and unfortunate this week we had a couple setbacks, but despite how it looked, I pretty much stayed to the end of the game, and I did get a lot of positives out of what happened Sunday, and I'm not deterred on what I think that this team can do. We got great news with the fact that Andy does not have to have surgery. So with that being said, hey, man, I think these guys can regroup and, get this thing back rolling.
All right. We got a guest tonight, played in Super Bowl 23 with the 88 Bengals, played mainly as a starter. Help me welcome to the show, Kevin Walker.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be with you. What's up, Joe?
That's great.
What's up, K-Dub?
Great to have you. So and the other thing you got to watch out for, Joe, is Leon Searcy calling in the middle of the show to try to get on here and start telling us how
Well,
we were wrong last week.
Yeah, he has some bragging rights this week. But like I said, when at the end of the day, when I woke up this morning, we still were in first place by 2 games. We still are second in the AFC, and as far as it looks to me, the Steelers' ass are still out of the playoffs. So Leon might have a little bit to talk about, with regard to what happened Sunday. But at the end of the day, nothing changed. We're still in first place. And I think we have a favorable schedule just like they do. And like I said, they need help, period. We don't. We just handle what we need to handle, and I know that we would do that. So, I hope Big Leon is listening, and tell him he can call. I'm here.
Maybe we'll get him towards the end of the show. I'll text him, see if he wants to come on. But we'll start off here. We'll start off with the Bengals defense. I thought the Bengals defense, considering the situation, actually played pretty well. Kevin, you want to give us your take on the defense, linebackers, especially Fontez Burfict, since a lot of Steeler fans crying that he's overly aggressive, I guess?
Well, that's what linebackers do. In my opinion, that's who we are by nature. It's supposed to be aggressive and get after it. And, he's been under the spotlight, since his career started. But, that's just his personality. That's his nature. And, that's something that you can't teach, the aggressiveness. And that's what you want. And I think that raises the level of play, certainly across the board. I know there might be a little suspect on that one hit that he put on Roethlisberger, but, nonetheless, I don't think there was anything intentional behind that. He's just aggressive by nature, and, he plays the game hard. And in my opinion, that's the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, I think the last 20 years, they haven't had too many linebackers like that. And if you watch them at the start of the year, Joe, we had trouble stopping the run.
You're going in and out, Mike.
Yeah, I was about to say I lost you, Mike.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. No, but like I said, earlier in the year, we talked about how the Bengals had trouble stopping the run, but it seemed as soon as Burfict got back in the lineup, they didn't have that problem anymore.
Well, he's certainly an impact player.
Yeah.
Good, Joe. Well, I said he's certainly an impact player. He's a run stopper, and you got to account for him when you line up and get after it. So he certainly was missed, and his presence is being felt right now. So I think that he's definitely a high impact player, someone that you want on the field, and you need to have someone football is an emotional sport, number one, but defense has to be played with a much higher intensity than offense, just because of the nature of the game. And I think he brings that certainly to the forefront, and he's a solid addition to the team.
Yeah.
Well, now you look at the injuries they had, of course, with Andy Dalton. They had 6 players that didn't practice today. Pac-Man Jones was back at practice. What's the mentality, Kevin? You think of the team with quality injuries, just next man up, or do you think that maybe there's some doubt creeping in now?
Well, I think that, if you want to be or aspire to be a championship, caliber team, you have to be able to find a way to work through adversity. Obviously you want to go the whole way, the distance with your number ones, but that's just not the nature of the game. You're going to face adversity, you're going to face injuries, and I think the teams that reach the pinnacle and get to the big show have consistently shown they could work through the hiccups along the way. Your guys have to be ready and be prepared to step up, because you're only one play away from, being the next man up, as you mentioned. So, I think this is going to be a true test to see, what the Bengals, in fact, are made of, because that's just part of the game. And I think that's what separates the teams that perform very well, have a couple of injuries, a little setback, and can't get to the next level or have continuity and sustainability to stay competitive until the number ones get back. That makes the difference.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the one good thing for the Bengals is they've drafted really well the last 5 years, which makes them one of the deeper teams in football. You've also, New England has had a plethora of injuries. Denver's had a ton of injuries. And I think if you look at it, I think it's still there to take the number 2. I don't know about your opinion, Joe, but I think A.J. McCarron can win at least 2 out of the 3 games, if not all 3. What's your opinion?
I look at A.J. McCarron. I looked at what he did. He came in a tough situation, and he came in against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm sure, coming out of Alabama, and now when you get here, and you see that, you have these big rivalries in the SEC, but, those are little boys playing to, compared to what you're doing at this level. And he just so happened to come in one of the biggest games of the season. And overall, I think he played well. I think with that pick 6, it's just tiny. Without having consistent reps in practice, that was a timing issue, because if he gets the reps, that pass will go out a second quicker. Goes out a second quicker. We catch it. The cornerback misses the ball. We catch it and make some yardage up the field. He showed that he can make some great throws. So from that standpoint, I think, he came in, he did well. But I still look at what kind of season Andy Dalton has had, and the kind of season that he's capable of having, with the last 3 remaining games. I think A.J. McCarron, with the weapons that we have around him, with the 3 wide receivers, our running game, our offensive line. I think at the beginning of the season, Mike, you and I probably agreed that if there was a weak point on our team, it was our offensive line. And now when you look at the overall, when you just look at the body of work that this offensive line has done and has kept Andy and AJ off of their back, compared to, you look at the other teams, they've done, a pretty good job. So from that standpoint, AJ, he can, get all these reps in practice. And AJ has to understand, AJ, we don't need you to win the game. You get the ball to those 3 guys, those 3 wideouts. If Eifert is in, you have a 4th weapon. If not, you step up. You have Jeremy Hill. You got Giovanni coming out of the backfield. So the thing is, I think with the plays, even though this is really his first year, he was around Hugh last year, so he's able to grasp the system that Hugh has put in place. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think he understands the concept of what Hugh is trying to do, and he just has to understand that we don't need you to win the game. We don't need you to try and force those passes. A lot of things that Andy was doing A couple last year, the year before, he was forcing things. Now Andy is said he's so comfortable with the system, he's making those plays. And we just need AJ to make those kind of plays. And I think Hugh will maybe not try and do everything that he has done with Dalton because it is. He's still a rookie, and he does not have the awareness because in that game, that Pittsburgh game, he missed. I mean, maybe 3-4 plays. He missed some guys wide open, and that's just that's timing and going through your progression. But I think he's capable of making those plays. So there's no panic button over here. I think we're still okay, and as long as our guys can get healthy, I think we'll be able to compete with the best.
Well, as you said, we kind of transition here to this week's game against the San Francisco 49ers. They're coming off a 24-10 loss to Cleveland. Injury-wise, they're probably more decimated even than the Bengals. Blaine Gabbert's their quarterback. They won. I mean, Blaine Gabbert's a quarterback that's never won back-to-back games in his career. Kevin, what do you think the offensive game plan will be going against the San Francisco defense? Do you think they'll run the ball more, or do you think it'll kind of stay the way it has been?
I don't think that, we need to change the approach, and I think Hugh has been pretty clear on that. He's got a pretty solid, offensive concept, and I think the key thing, as Joe mentioned, is just for AJ to play within himself. You got some playmakers on that side of the ball, and you just have to fit into the system. The system works, and, it's been pretty evident with the success that, the offense has had this year that it does have some impact. It does have, opportunities to put some points up on the board, and it's just staying within yourself to make the plays. We have some playmakers. I mean, it's a very solid running game, and we have some, top-notch, wide receivers, that can certainly stretch a defense, strong tight end. So I think all the ingredients are there, but it's just being able to put yourself in a place to make plays and stay within the context of what the offense is trying to accomplish from Hugh's standpoint.
Yeah, and originally I thought this would be a game that could possibly be a trap game, Joe, but I think that's taken care of. I don't think there's any way the Bengals take anybody lightly from here on out, just from what's happened, the injuries they've had. What do you think the defensive mind that is? The Niners don't have the greatest defensive line or greatest offensive line, and offensively there's not very good.
I think our defense is going to stay put on what we're doing well. If we have Pac-Man back, that just even adds another dimension to our offense. Our defensive line is, they're playing solid. They're getting after the quarterback. So I think with this game, I think just based on the emotions of last week. And the mere fact that I know when those guys walked off the field, they know that they're better than Pittsburgh. This is my opinion, I'm pretty close down there. You can kind of get a feel of things, and it's all right. It was all right. It wasn't. You didn't see guys head down. The defensive guys, they were going on the field, and still competing and still making plays. They stopped Roethlisberger from having a huge day and going in. I think they're going to start, licking the chops, man, and Dunlap and Gino and those defensive linemen. I think they're going to get after him. I think our linebackers are going to come up and they're going to lay the wood on some guys. I think our defensive backs definitely can stay with their wide receivers. So we're going to stay pat. We're going to stay doing what we do well, and that's getting after the quarterback. That's stuffing the run, and depends on the health of the safeties, who's playing. We're still going to get after them, and hopefully our front seven can put enough pressure on San Francisco to alleviate some of the things that could happen, with our substitutes in the defensive backfield, especially the safety. Loca is out. I think we have 3 or 4 DBs that are have minor injuries. So you never know how minor they are, because Loca last week The groin was a minor injury. We thought he can play, but he got out there, and I think he lasted 2 series. So I think that with that being said, our front seven, we play well. I think we can have a lot of success against San Francisco.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get both you guys picks before we have Kevin tell some embarrassing Joe Kelly stories from the late 80s. So, Kevin, what's your pick for the game this week?
I certainly got to go with the home team, my man. So, Mike, I'm going with the Bengals. Again, I know it's tough always traveling to the coast. And, historically, I know teams don't do well traveling out to the left side. But, I'm going with the home team.
All right, Joe?
Yeah, I look at us as going in there. I look at defense getting after their offense. I looked at Jeremy Hill and Giovanni having a big day. So I think we'll get back to our winning ways, and I'm looking at I'm going to say maybe 35-14 Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm in about the same area. I think like 31-10. I just don't see how San Francisco can score enough points. I mean, we just get out McCarron doesn't throw a couple pick sixes, which I think would be the bad thing that could happen. Now, that brings me to another question. I've seen this on almost the Bengals Facebook website, everything. There's people that are putting forth and asking what happens if the Bengals win out and Dalton's able to play in the playoff game. What do you do?
If we win out?
Yeah, if we win out and we're like a 2 seed or a 1 seed, and then Dalton's healthy to play, should the Bengals stay with McCarron or should they go with Dalton?
Oh, man, absolutely not. Man, you better put that redhead gunslinger in. That's not a conversation. You feel me? That's not a conversation. And anybody on social media or online or whoever talking, man, they need to put their head in the dirt and, I can tell them a couple things, but this is radio, But
Joe, I had somebody get in an argument with me the other day because they thought that there was no need to sign a backup quarterback or bring up winning because Mohamed Sanu could play quarterback.
Mohamed Sanu can play quarterback at what level? Man, this is
high school. He ran the triple option. In college, he was 8 for 18 passing. So I'd imagine they used him about like the Bengals did, which was for trick plays.
Well, Mike, this is definitely not his high school, and this is definitely not Rutgers. This is.
Yeah, I don't think the triple option will work here either.
Yeah, and we look at the bad teams. San Francisco is a lot of injuries. They're having a horrible season for them, but those guys over there are still professional athletes. Those guys over there are still pretty good. When you're when you just look at the talent of each and every player, man for man. So no, Sanu will come in and play quarterback. He will get destroyed. This is the NFL, man. You look at quarterbacks who've been great in college and they come here. There are not a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL. There's a lot of quarterbacks who are terrible, but they're awesome in college. But this is the NFL, man. It's tough. It's tough, man. And it's a different.
Yeah,
game.
Look at David Klingler, Keely Smith, Jack Thompson. The Bengals had a lot of guys in their past that were high draft picks and never panned out.
It's the speed. It's the speed of the game. When you get to this level, the speed. Now that pass that AJ made, the pick six at Alabama, that's a completion. That's a 7-8 yard game. In the NFL, that's a pick six. It's going the other way. So Kevin can tell you about what the level of how the level of physicality, the level of speed from college, to the NFL. It's tremendous. So it's you have to have some good guys, man. But you can't bring that conversation up, man. This guy is having an MVP caliber, Pro Bowl caliber, Super Bowl quarterback.
And where is he? Is he like number 3, Joe, on like votes for the Pro Bowl? He's way up there.
Yeah, but
I think he's only behind Brady.
Yeah, but you look at the body of work. You have to look at the body of work. He's made bad passes here and there, but interceptions here and there. I don't think he's really thrown really bad balls, all year, here and there. But, Tom Brady has thrown awful balls. But when you look at the body of this kid's work, since he has been in the NFL, this kid has broken records. Record after record is falling, and he's in year 5. One of the most prolific passer in Bengal history. The first guy to do this in 5 years. The first guy to do this, in 5 years. So his body of work speaks for itself. I think it all goes back to us winning that first playoff game. Until we win a playoff game, that is going to follow Andy. But when you look at Andy's body of work, I don't care if AJ blows the roof off next week. He beats Denver, beats Baltimore, and Andy is ready for playoffs. It's not a conversation to have, and then it's not
because the game's even faster when you get.
Oh yeah, it go. There's this preseason level, and then you get to regular season. There's an intensity, and then when you get to the playoffs, that intensity even goes even higher. And it's hard to imagine the intensity going higher than how it was Sunday against Pittsburgh. But it's going to go. It's going to go up 2-3 notches. What do you think, Ken?
Well, there's no doubt about it. But I think you mentioned, Joe, about timing. I don't think the average person understands the difference between having a ball thrown when it's supposed to be thrown or actually seeing a quarterback throw the ball. If you see a quarterback throw the ball and you're a wide receiver, it's going the other way. If the corner sees the quarterback throw the ball, it's definitely going the other way. It's all about timing. You have to catch it in your breaks and that. So I think that when the conversation comes up about who can step in and play quarterback, it's a difficult task. Again, it goes back to AJ getting reps. When you get 8 to 10 reps a week as opposed to all the reps or 99% of the reps as a starter, and then on top of that, being acclimated to game speed, there's a curve, and it's pretty significant. It's a big difference between preseason.
Yeah, and in the NFL, in a zone, in college, you get about a 5 to 6 yard window usually to complete a pass in a zone. In the NFL, it's about a yard or two.
Mm-hmm. It's that.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be able to put the ball exactly where it's supposed to be. And, I mean, I honestly, I don't think A.J. McCarron's ever going to be a great quarterback. But the situation he's in with the teams we are playing, he's got enough players around him to be successful.
Yeah, I don't want to say that the kid would not be, a great quarterback or he won't be successful. I just think right now you have to understand what 14, the level that number 14 is playing at, and it's an extremely high level. It's the top 3-4 quarterbacks in the National Football League level, which is hard to do. It's hard to to go out and say, hey, this guy was probably the second best quarterback in the NFL in 2015. That means that this dude was better than 31 quarterbacks, 31 starting quarterbacks.
Yeah. At worst, he's top 4 or 5.
Yeah. I put him in top 4. I don't even say 5. You look at Tom Brady, what he's doing. You look at you have to look at Cam Newton, what he's doing. You look at Roethlisberger, what he's doing.
I think you have to put Russell Wilson in there.
Yeah, I look at Russell Wilson next. But you look at that. But when you look at it, when you look at the numbers and you look at what each one has done for their team, Andy is just as important, or Andy has done just as much or more than all of them, including Tom. So when you look at, Palmer's playing great, but when you look at the body of his work, the sacks, not making the bad passes, because a lot of times it's not about just going out and throwing for 500 yards. You see a lot of situations where he's made some great passes. He's made some great decisions. You look at that just like on defense. It's not always about here Kevin and I finishing this game with 15 tackles. I may have had 6 tackles, but you didn't look. I dropped in my pass coverage. I filled my run responsibility. I made the proper calls. There's probably 15, 16 plays that I made during this game that's not going to be in the stat sheet. The fans are not going to see.
Yeah, right.
But when you go and watch film, you're going to get a lot of accolades from the coach. Like, oh man, Kev, that was great. He didn't make the tackle. Or the quarterback threw away, or quarterback threw an interception because of how Kevin dropped. So there's so many things that go into an NFL play. We look at that first drive when Andy threw the interception. Andy, no. But when you look at every play is designed a certain way. Giovanni was supposed to rub that defensive end to create separation. He didn't. So when you look at everything, everybody plays a part on the screen. The offensive tackle has a job. It's timing, and when that timing is off, A.J. McCarron's pick 6, his timing was off a second. I don't even know, it might have been a half a second, but that's all it takes in the NFL. This is a quick game. It's fast. So you're playing at such a high level, and even these bad teams, those guys, are very, very elite athletes. These guys are, as a whole, they're not having a great season, but individually, these guys are very talented guys. You can't go in. We can't walk in there and say it's the San Francisco 49ers of 2015 and we're going to win. We better go in there with a mission, and we better be ready to play, or we can put ourselves in a really bad position. Come Denver, we go and lose this game. Pittsburgh wins, and then we go to Denver and lose. Now we're playing the last game, to see who wins the division. So we could put ourselves in a bad situation because we're still, even though we're standing great right now. But we go in there, we take these guys lightly. We can put ourselves in a bad situation, and we don't want to do that. Nor do I think that'll happen. I think we'll go in there, we'll take care of what we need to take care of, and get ready and get our guys healthy.
I believe they clearly understand what they say. No doubt.
Kevin, you played 88 through the 92 season with the Bengals, correct?
Yes, sir.
You got any Joe Kelly stories?
After
They're all right to tell on air.
We have to be on X-rated radio. We have to be on maybe R-rated. I can tell people R-rated.
That's what everybody tells me.
We had some good times. We had some good times, man. Some great times, some awesome times.
There's no doubt about it.
All right, so you played 88 through 92. What was it like to play for Dave Shula? I've always wanted to ask somebody that.
Well, it was kind of interesting, dynamic. It's kind of tough to explain, but there's certain coaches that have apparent authority. When you play for Bill Belichick, there's like zero latitude. When you play Parcells or Mike Ditka, I'm sure Don Shula and Tom Landry, however, there's a host of, great coaches. Not to say Dave didn't have any potential to become that, but it's just, it's a timing thing, and I think it's a personality thing. Some people just have, leadership skills that are, obviously in our day we had some struggles. I mean, it was some tough times, and when you're dealing with leadership and morale and rallying the troops to go out every week and produce week in and week out, there's just certain things I think that in your maturity level, not to say perhaps that he was on the younger side of the tier, because you got Mike Tomlin that has excelled at it. There's just some guys just have a knack for creating that apparent authority to get guys to get on board with you. to believe in the direction of what you want to take a team and what needs to be accomplished day in and day out to be successful on Sunday afternoons. I think that was perhaps a little bit of a challenge, with Dave and his personality and the timing of the job and the position and where we were as a team at the time. Some things, when you're, rebuilding something, but, you just have to, sometimes you're dealing with, minor damage, sometimes you're dealing with major damage. We had some major things, challenges that we had to overcome.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you just can't get Mako,
Yeah. Now, you played in the 90 season. Last time Bengals won a playoff game against the Oilers. Maybe some recollections of that season. And that was a team that, similar to last year's team, into the playoffs, and you guys had injuries all over the place, especially when you went to L.A. to play the Raiders.
Yeah, we're banged up a little bit, and I'm trying to recall working through my CTE.
Hey, get a hold of me. I got some stuff for that. Leon will vouch for it, too. Seriously.
No. But, I think that, I'm trying to reflect back on where we were. I think that we, obviously have a very strong team. Obviously we had some challenges stopping the run. I mean, Bo Jackson, obviously a phenomenal athlete. Marcus Allen, the Ethan Horton, I believe, was a tight end. They just were making plays, and we had struggles on defense. And I think that, when you deal with the climate change, because I remember being very cold here, and I believe it was 78 degrees out there, defense has to be able to get off the field. And when you have a team that can sustain drives against you, it just wears you down. I believe the final score is like 20-16, something like that. And
yeah, it was a 17-10 game from what I remember till like midway through the fourth quarter, and they had like a 3rd and 9, and Ethan Horton caught a touchdown pass, I believe it was.
Okay.
I think it ended 20-10. Not sure. You remember, Joe?
I don't think it was that. For some reason, I'm thinking it's 2016.
Yeah, I was in New York, so that's I think I was watching on TV, but I just think there was the change started. The change started in '89 when PB unfortunately passed, and Mike took over. I think just what we had, starting in the late 80s and 88, the accumulating the great season in 88. And then when Mike took over, I think he took over and the mentality of the organization was different. It became more of just a business, as opposed to trying to build this football power. We're trying to, get the best football players on the field and keep the morale and the great things that we had from 88, and by 90, 91, 92, 93, it was a whole different, atmosphere. Even though I was in New York, I stayed here, and Kevin and I hung out after season just as much as we did when I was here. So, it's just a change. I think, with Shula, I just didn't, it just seems like there wasn't a lot of respect with Sam. Sam was a quirky guy, a funny guy, but Sam commanded respect, and I think he got that respect from the players. The players believed in him, obviously they believed in, his scheme and the no-huddle thing and what he was doing, and he, even though he didn't spend a lot of time on the defensive side, he did go around player to player, and I think it's that when you as a whole, the team as a whole, really don't respect the guy that's in his authority, it's hard to build off that. It's hard to because this game, because the talent level is so close, it takes morale. You have to be a team that eat together after practice. Knowing each other's families, knowing the nuances of what I like, what I don't like, what on the field. You have to be able to to really vibe on the field and off the field. Those are the special teams. Teams that have that camaraderie. Teams that all those things with the coaches and things they're doing off the field are special. And when you don't have that, when you don't have that cohesion, you have a team. You look at 2015. You look at all these teams who, at the beginning of the season, were supposed to be really good teams. Baltimore, Atlanta. You can go on and see how really bad these teams are. And they still, for the most part, have these really good players. But for some reason, it didn't gel like it's gelling with the teams that are doing well. So, there's so many different parts that play pieces that play a part in the success, of an NFL team. So you have to look at it. It's just not talent, because everybody is talented. Everybody is good. Everybody was Kev came out. Kev was the baddest linebacker coming out of Maryland. You look at all the guys. David Grant was the best D lineman coming out of West Virginia. You put those guys together, and we all came together in '88 as a team, and it worked. And you look at the next season. Unfortunately, I think we went 8-8 in '89. And there were some pieces of the puzzle that were missing. That went Plan B, that were traded, so on and so forth. So it all.
Well, I think the biggest problem with those Bengal teams is when Mike Brown drafts help. I mean, 90 on, the Bengals constantly drafted and made you scratch your head. You already got Boomer Esiason. Why you drafting David Clark?
Well, that's Kevin. Kevin can talk about that. I was long gone. I was a jet.
Get it. But I think for a while, James Swatsy's always to draft the best available player, as opposed to needs. That's been a pretty consistent theme, around here for several years back in the day when I was playing. But, philosophies have changed, and, everyone has their own philosophy on how you build a team, to fill needs and, areas of weakness that you need to bolster, what have you. That's certainly not my position to ever question or make any judgment or assessment on that. We all have a job to do, and that was always our position, just to line up and do what you have to do to protect your job and take care of business and handle your affairs on Sunday afternoon.
Right.
Well, we're almost out of time, so I want to thank Kevin for coming on. I didn't ask about the Bo Jackson thing because I figured you'd probably stick it.
Well, Mike, you were right. It was 20-10, my man. So yeah, I came over next.
There you go. See, Joe.
I said I battled that.
Well, Kevin, he suffered a lot of concussions, man. Kevin, surprised he remembers his name sometimes, but he's that's my guy, man. But I just don't stand by him. If you're at a Bengal Raider game, Mike, I think they're still looking for his ass.
Well, them Raider fans ain't nothing to mess with either.
No, man, that's a different. I'll tell you what, Mike. Kevin cannot. Can you imagine going the Bengals? If Kevin would have went out there and he would have put that 59 Walker jersey on, he would have got his ass kicked that day, maybe by a Lady Raider fan. They still,
Well, some of them Lady Raider fans look pretty manly.
I'm always up for a challenge. I don't know why. I don't know how I let that one pass by, Joe. I should have went on out there with that.
He took the heart. He took the heart away from that, man. That was that was Bo Jackson, man. But it was, it was a clean tackle. It was everybody was still amazed how the hell Kevin caught him. Bo must have been a little tired.
Well, I still think if that Bengal team is completely healthy, I think they beat the Raiders in that game, even in L.A.
Yeah. But
and I know the Bengals wouldn't have went up and got beat 51-3 by Buffalo. So.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was terrible. But it's that's in this league. In this league, Mike, we talk about it every week, man. You have to be healthy. You have to get healthy during toward the end of the season in order to make this run. Because especially when you get to the playoffs, you have to be able to put some bullets in the gun, man. When last year when we went to Indianapolis, wishful thinking, in my heart wanted us to win, but no way. We had no chance. When you look at all the guys that were out, we had absolutely no chance. So, I knew that, and my heart was in it. And as soon as the first quarter started, I knew right away it was over. This was the last game of the season. And once you get to,
I think the key is if they can defense backs off before they go to Denver, I still like our chances.
Oh yeah. I love our chances. I still love our chances. I think there's no catastrophic injuries. We haven't had the injuries that Baltimore has had to deal with, and the Cowboys with Romo being out. So unfortunately, we still we've had nicks here and there. So we can rebound with that. We can play the season with, hey, this guy's sitting out, that guy's sitting out. But we hadn't had any season-ending injuries for a major contributor. So I think that plays a part in our success. And just like the injuries last week played a vital part in us not finishing and winning that game against Pittsburgh. But overall, man, I still, like it. I still want Hooter Nation to understand, don't panic. And we can have AJ just come in and do your job, dude. Do your job. Don't get out there and I did hear him do an interview, and I kind of cringed a little bit when he started talking about Tom Brady. This is just how Tom Brady started, which he did, but this is a different scenario. Andy's not out, and Bledsoe was in his 12th, 13th year, something like that. Andy's in his prime. And I don't think this is a fluke season because you have some guys just have a great season based on a lot of different things. The guy has 9 interceptions based on 9 different quarterbacks throwing horrible passes, or you might have a guy has 2 interceptions and probably the best DB in the league. I think Andy is solid. I think.
Well, a lot of times you don't throw to the best DB in the league. That's why they don't give as many interceptions.
Exactly. So I think Andy's in his prime. I think Andy has a lot of great years. I don't think he has good years. I think he has great years especially because of the core of what he has surrounding him with Eifert and AJ and Jones. Yeah. So that being said, man, I'm excited about the Nation.
Well, I want to remind everybody, you can catch us next week. We'll preview the Denver game. I've got an old Bronco that might want to come on with the show if you want to find another old Bengal. So I'll talk to you later this week about that. Make sure you guys check out realbengalfans.com and the Real Bengal Fans Facebook page. Check out Gridiron Mo, our main sponsor, at www.gridironmo.com. Also, check us out, Grilling Crew. Check us out on Speaker, Stitcher, and we will be on iHeart within the next 2 months. I was notified today. So again, I want to thank Evan Walker for coming in and being on the show. And I'd like to talk to you maybe during the off season, because we're still going to do this show at least once a month, bring an old Bengal or two on to talk to, aren't we, Jeff?
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Keep this. We're all football heads. We're football. 24/7, man. Even when it's basketball season, some other season, we're still those jocks, man. We hang out. Kevin and I hang out, and we have a good time. So we still talk football. So we'll be talking football all season, off season, man. So we still have some some great conversations to be had on the radio.
You get some versatility.
Well, and the other thing is,
you can bring in an old Raider, old Jet, old Eagle. Old Ram.
Well, and the other thing, Joe, I haven't talked to you yet, but I had a business get a hold of me today about us actually doing a live show from an establishment next year during the season.
Oh, man.
Where we come on, have some fans on, and maybe have some old Bengals with us, and
yeah,
do it like that.
My guys will come through, man. And, you know, we just got to tell people we have Kevin on. He may repeat a couple of his statements, man. He may forget what he said, 2 minutes ago, but that's all right.
Well, I mean, we can post it. I mean, we need to get Kevin to get a Facebook so we can send it to him, and then, he'll have it and he can recollect that way.
Yeah,
there you go. I appreciate that. I appreciate your guys' support. I really do.
Hey, well, thanks a lot for being on, Kevin. Joe, we will reconvene next week at the same time. So for Ken Walker, Joe Kelly, I'm my good Patty. You've been listening to Grueling Truth, the Legends Speak.